with the most credible as always. Welcome back. So we are up to episode 8 of season 1 of Bates Motel. So yeah, even more things are coming to the surface in here. So we're almost at the end of the first season here. So yeah, let's dive into this episode. I would say probably of the episodes so far, this is probably like the slowest episode, I guess. It's still very enjoyable, but it's definitely compared to the first 7 episodes of the series. Definitely a little bit slower, but hey, that's okay, because it's kind of like, you know, a couple episodes right before the end of the season, but things definitely start picking up at the end of this episode, let me tell you. So, a couple of different things that are coming to surface in this, so, first of all, Norman decides to take his kind of like dead dog that he sort of found in the last episode, and you know, this little stray dog that he found under the deck. Dog ended up getting killed at the end of the episode. He was run over by a car. Yeah, I literally, God, I was a wreck after that episode, let me tell ya. But anyway, so this episode, and I know he even said at the end of the last episode, he's like, oh, I'm going to take it to Emma's dad, he can fix him and everything, because Emma's dad is really into taxidermy and everything. So Norman, you know, kind of doesn't want to give up the fact that he almost had a dog, wants to have a little bit of companionship, so, you know, he brings the dog over to Emma's house. Her dad's kind of showing him, like, you know, different things and everything, and it's like, oh, yeah, you know, once you kind of get past the blood and guts, it's really, really simple and stuff. So, you know, Norman's kind of been, like, doing this and everything, and, you know, Emma's dad, when he meets Norma and everything, you know, Norma's kind of like, well, you know, he's a little bit of an awkward kid to begin with. Like, I just feel like this might really set him apart, you know, and really kind of label him as a weirdo, like, you know how kids are. And, you know, Emma's dad kind of really sticks up for him and is saying how, well, you know, maybe you should let him do this, because when he's over here, you know, he's very calm, very kind of serene, just, you know, maybe this could be one of those, like, yeah, it might seem a little weird, but it could be a good thing for him, especially if he seems to be having a little bit of difficulty. That's another thing that kind of happened in this episode. So Emma at school was in the bathroom and overheard a couple of Bradley's friends. We now are kind of really seeing something that we all kind of knew with Bradley and her friends, but just kind of discovering with Norman and how, like, teenage girls can be. You know, that, you know, they're not really nice people. They're very much like those kind of girls, like the Plastics in Mean Girls, kind of, like, just very kind of snobbish and everything. They're kind of talking about Norman and Bradley and everything, and saying, like, oh yeah, Bradley would never have anything to do with him, blah, blah, blah. And of course, you know, Emma, you know, not wanting, you know, her friend to be kind of, like, bashed or anything, you know, comes out and says, hey, you know, just so you know, like, yeah, no, they slept together, so, you know, Bradley is obviously not being truthful to you and everything, and blah, blah, blah. So, you know, that, of course, you know, triggers Norman a little bit. He gets upset. You know, Emma doesn't quite tell him initially why she said the things to these girls about him and Bradley and everything, even though it's, you know, done in confidence. But yeah, like, you know, she does eventually, towards the end of the episode, kind of let him know, like, hey, you know, this is what happened. They were talking about you and everything. I just did not want, you know, your name to be kind of drug in the dirt and everything, and, you know, untrue things and all this. So I just kind of wanted to set the record straight. You know, I just did it as a friend and everything. But, you know, when Norman first kind of confronts Emma about it, you know, he gets very upset, leaves school. His English teacher comes out and is like, you can't leave. He kind of, you know, has a little bit of an outburst at her, which then leads her to call in Norma, and it's like, hey, you know, he seems to be, you know, a little bit of a loner, kind of, I'm a little concerned, like, I understand he is new, but I think maybe he should talk to the school psychologist. Of course, no one wants to hear that their kid should see the school psychologist or any sort of therapist in general, but to be honest, I think we all can kind of look in on the Bates themselves and kind of realize they all need a little bit of therapy, but whatever, but whatever. So yeah, we got all that and everything, got that sort of stuff. Really kind of starting to set up the rest of the series for, the craziness that will be Norman, especially Norman. And then with Dylan's got a little bit of stuff going on. Him and his little buddy or whatever, his little work guy or whatever that hates his guts, get a call. They've got to go do an overnighter, pick up a couple of people. Basically, from what I remember, because we're going to see this group of people, like these 9 people, in a few more episodes. And I believe, if memory serves, and I know I'll, we'll talk about this more in next few videos with this, but from what I remember, I think they were, sort of harvesters, or at least, kind of like dealers, basically. They do something, they help out and stuff, they come out and stuff, and, whatever, but, their little storyline, their quick little storyline is being introduced in this one as well. So, it's just, like I said, this episode was definitely, of the 8 so far that we've been going through, this one is definitely kind of, I would, a little bit slower, but at the same time, it's kind of more of, a transitional sort of episode, because there are a couple of different, storylines that have kind of just ended, other ones that are just about to begin, and all this, so, and then also, too, this mysterious man who has the standing reservation, we come to realize that he's kind of, in on the whole, Keith Summers, Officer Shelby, cluster fudge of a scenario and everything. He starts, being a little shady with Norman and everything, and so, of course, she gets pissed off, and she's like, you know what, you need to leave, we have no business relationship, don't ever come back. So he's out of the picture for the moment, and I only say that because I believe this guy does come back in the picture. As a matter of fact, I'm almost, positive he does, because at the end of this episode, when Dylan gets back with, the group of pothead dealers, enthusiasts, whatever, her and Dylan are gonna go, since it's just them for dinner, they're gonna go kind of, have, a little mother-son type of night out and stuff. So when she goes upstairs to her room, there is the dead body of Officer Shelby, looking, I think 10 times better than he did when he was alive. I'm just saying. That's just me. So yeah, so, we can kind of figure we're gonna see this, shady as freak of a guy coming back and stuff, so, but yeah, that's just kind of where we're at so far with the series. Like I said, this was kind of a slower episode, but only because we're, kind of introducing a few more storylines and everything, a couple of different little, short little storylines and everything, and plus the fact that we are getting close to the end of the first season. But yeah, so, it is going to be pretty interesting to see what happens in the last 2 episodes of the season, so definitely, check out next week and the following week to see what happens in the end of season 1. Till next time, you guys, as always, stay creepy, classy, and a little bit sassy.